Let's say good morning to Mark Feinsand, leading the league in information today with the details of ground chuck being served in Atlanta.
Charlie Morton heading to the Braves on a one-year, $15 million contract, the same number that the Rays declined with their option. The Rays have already gotten very aggressive. Drew Smyly, 1 year, $11 million. Charlie Morton, 1 year, $15 million. So Alex Anthopoulos going aggressive to fill those rotation spots. And it's an interesting signing. The Rays were in the mix. They were one of the two finalists, but the offer was better from Atlanta, and he ends up going to Atlanta.
Charlie Morton's big game success, well documented. We saw it again this postseason. The fact that this guy has signed a 2-year deal to go to Houston, won a World Series. 2-year deal to go to Tampa, among the players that took them to a World Series. Now another short-term deal to go to a team that's already loaded from both sides, the club side and the player side. This is a great contract.
Yeah, and obviously bringing in a guy who's got that postseason track record for a team that's been in the postseason and is looking to make that next step. I think it's a great signing for the Braves. They know that this is a guy who, come October, he pitches, as well as he does any other time of year. And, they needed that extra arm in the rotation. Morton certainly has lived up to his billing the last few years. And I think, it's interesting. We've heard so much about Trevor Bauer talking about potentially signing one-year deals. You're talking Charlie Morton to sign these 2-year deals, 2-year deal, 1-year deal. It does leave him in control of sort of where he wants to pitch, who he wants to pitch for, and the kind of team he thinks he's going to go to.
Mark, you said the Rays and the Braves were the two finalists for Chuck. Were there other people out there, and were the Rays and the Braves like his final two choices, so to speak, and was kind of hearing other people, but not necessarily serious about them because he wanted kind of some geographical flexibility?
I think the geographical situation was important. The Rays and Braves both, train in the same area in Florida. He lives in that area. I believe lives in Bradenton, if I'm not mistaken. And, he wasn't ruling out Arizona teams from what I understand, but Florida teams had an advantage there, I think. And, he obviously loved his time in Tampa Bay. They did get to the World Series. They were a very good team. And I think there was serious mutual interest in him going back there. But the Braves really stepped up and made it clear that he was a priority for them. And, as far as he was concerned, I believe the two finalists were Atlanta and Tampa Bay.
Boy, a good staff got even better here. Regarding Alex Anthopoulos and when he likes to strike in the offseason, this is 3 straight years that he has signed big-time pitching help early in the offseason. This from Dave O'Brien of The Athletic. Alex Anthopoulos on bolstering rotation with Charlie Morton and Drew Smyly signings. We had an extremely short list of guys we would consider, basically 2 to 3, and obviously we got 2. These were 2 guys that were at the top of our list, Charlie and Drew. Well, they got their men for a combined $26 million in it. It reminds us all of the offseason that they had last year when they put a very firm timeline on their business. They went out and signed Will Smith basically in the hours after the World Series ended in 2019. They put a timeline on bringing back Josh Donaldson. It didn't happen. They couldn't get a hold of him by some reports, and they said, all right, we're going to pivot to Marcell Ozuna, who went ahead and just led everybody in power productivity last year. So again, hats off to the Braves getting things done quickly in the offseason. It feels like they don't want to react to other teams, Mark, that Alex wants to be the guy setting the timeline.
Yeah, well, like you said, and like we saw Dave O'Brien report, he identifies who he wants and he goes after them. This happened a couple of years ago as well when they signed Josh Donaldson and they brought Brian McCann back. Those deals got done, I believe, in November as well. So Alex is really a guy who believes this is who I want. I'm not going to wait for the market to develop. I know what I'm willing to pay, and I'm going to go do it. I'm not, if you thought maybe if you waited a little longer, you could get Charlie Morton for $14 million, but then somebody else, you gave another team an opening to step in and sign him. They didn't do that here. They knew what they wanted. They had a price. They went after him, and they got him. So all credit to Alex Anthopoulos for taking that aggressive approach at a time where so many teams are sort of taking that laying in the weeds and wait-and-see approach.
Think about that too, Mark, because in today's age, pitchers get injured enough during the season. But I think you almost look at it the way Alex is looking at it. Pitchers also go down in the offseason from time to time. And to your point, if you wait too long into an offseason, there could be a guy that gets hurt throwing a side session somewhere where a team says, you know what, I have a big need, and now I'm a player for Charlie Morton. So I love what Alex is doing, going out there early, striking while the irons are hot, and pulling the trigger on some things.
You know, and you look at it, he said that Morton and Smiley were two of their top three guys. That's not to say that Trevor Bauer isn't a better pitcher than those two guys, but for what the money's going to cost, whatever Bauer's going to sign for, probably going to be as much, if not more, on a one-year basis than what they got these two guys for. So I think part of it is also understanding your payroll situation, what you can handle in terms of the money that you have available to you. And obviously they had a certain amount of money available for these spots, and he went out and got his guys. And, Braves fans have to be pretty happy as they head into Thanksgiving weekend.